Hey guys, I'm Justin.
I'm Leigh.
She hadn't been here in so long she forgot what side of the table she sits on. But anyway.
I just picked a seat.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Anyways, we're here. Brand new episode of To Keep or Not to Keep. Let's roll the intro and get right into it.
To keep or not to keep.
Alright guys, so today it's been about 3 weeks since we've done To Keep or Not to Keep. We were doing them every 2 weeks. It's been 3 weeks and we still don't have but 9 watches. It's been busy. Between Nashville Horror Con, getting ready to go to Flashback Weekend this upcoming weekend, and oh yeah, we filmed Mothershucker in the 115 degree heat. Expect a YouTube video on that real soon as we want to give our cast their due. But it's just been crazy, and so we haven't had a whole lot of time to do a lot of watches. But the things we have watched, I feel like we've watched some pretty okay stuff. So I've managed to watch 5 on my own. Leigh has been getting home a little later, and so some afternoons when she gets home a little later, I'll knock out a movie or two. I actually haven't had the time to watch any at work either, so these have all been kind of like knocked out after work in the afternoon. So I'll go ahead and start us off because I've watched 5, we've watched 4, so I'll start us off here with my first one, and that is Trancers 3. So we started watching Trancers, me and Leigh, and she was intrigued by Trancers basically because it had Helen Hunt. And she was heavily involved in part 1. She was still pretty heavily involved in part 2. But in part 3, you can definitely tell she had made it big. This was right before she would do, was it Twister? And when she did Twister, like, I think it was probably right before she did that. I'm not sure what year Twister took place. I believe this was like
Want Women Want, and she had kind of taken off at that point.
I'm not seeing a year on this, so I'm not sure. Oh, there it is, 90. Good God, that is so small. I think it's 92. So
No, you need glasses too.
I mean, even someone with 20/20 vision couldn't read that. That is, anyway. Trancers 3. So I actually did enjoy Trancers 3. It just back, it's more of the same thing. Jack is basically told, like, hey, look, we need you to go back in time and go on this mission. And basically him going on this mission, he has, prior to being sent, he's basically made a last-ditch effort for him and Helen Hunt to be together. She is already she's done with him. She's tired of it. And so he winds up going into the future. And she has a daughter, and she's doing well for herself. And him kind of being sent, he misses their date and their rendezvous, and so she's completely done with him. He kind of sees what the future's like, and basically when he gets back, they're like, okay, this is your new thing. You're now our police officer of all time, and basically ruins any chance for him to have a life or anything. He had already kind of been that, but this kind of makes it and sets it in stone. I enjoyed this one. I thought it was pretty good. So for this one, vote to keep.
Next up, we have Man's Best Friend with Lance Henriksen. Basically, this news reporter goes in and finds this where they're doing testing on animals. There's this huge dog that's caged, and I think it's a Saint Bernard, isn't it?
Maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think so, maybe.
Anyway, he's freaking huge. His name is Max, and he becomes obsessed with this reporter, I guess because she lets him out of the cage, and follows her everywhere. She ends up taking him home. Her boyfriend hates the dog, and so the dog hates the boyfriend. She begs to keep him. He says no. Long story short, Max, the longer he is out of the facility where they kept him, I guess, medicated somewhat. It didn't go into great detail there, but he becomes more and more irate. And starts killing, basically. So this whole thing is about Lance Henriksen trying to get him back into his custody so he can take care of the animal. And yeah, it was definitely not one of my favorite movies, but I mean, it wasn't terrible for what it was.
Okay. I mean, I enjoyed it. Yeah, Max is basically a genetic experiment. The whole point of the movie is he has been altered. He's had his DNA spliced with like cheetahs and jaguars and chameleons and all these different things, basically trying to make a predator and all these different things out of him. And yeah, the longer he goes without, his animalistic instincts start taking over. And so, like, if you're mean to him or if you badmouth him, he's going to come after you, and he's extremely intelligent. You didn't like it, I think, but probably because you're an animal lover and kind of some of the things that happened. I'm not so much of an animal lover, so I actually thought it was pretty decent. I mean, it does show, like, some animal cruelty and stuff like that. Clearly, none of that actually legitimately happened in the film. But again, if you're like really into animals, this probably isn't going to be a movie for you. But me not being as into them as much, it's not like I hate animals, but I'm not as into them as Leigh. I thought it was decent. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was neat to see his kind of descent, and like he's all like cute and cuddly, and then all of a sudden he's eating a cat. Like, I thought it was pretty funny. So for me personally, it'd be vote to keep.
Man, this is your channel, so I guess you can keep it.
I'm going to give you 2 for 1 on the next one. So we have Trancers 4 and Trancers 5. These do not have any kind of specific names, I don't think, like that go with them. So both of these were released in '94, and these basically go hand in hand with each other. It's basically one continuous story. One is 73 minutes, one's 75 minutes, so 140, you know, almost a 3-hour movie. Not quite, but, you know, almost. So these, for me, though, I didn't like these. So I've always enjoyed the 3 Trancers movies preceding this. They were set in the city. He had kind of like gone to the future or gone back in the past, but they still had like cars and stuff like that, and they had decent stories. This one has an okay story, but you send him back in time to like medieval times, and those kinds of movies for me are really hard to get into anyways. And I don't know, for me, you could just tell like this series had taken a really strong nosedive. These were all of them were straight to video, but these definitely had like a downtick in even video quality. Helen Hunt was no longer a part of them. She had gone on to greater things. You could tell Tim Thomerson, like, I don't think gave his best performances in these. He just looked tired. He looked like he didn't really give 2 craps about doing these. It was almost like, well, I signed on to do 5 pictures, so I guess I got to knock these other 2 out. I don't know. There was just something different with these that I didn't care for. So for me, both Trancers 4 and Trancers 5, they're going to be vote to sales.
Wow. So next up is the monkey. Was he in that?
Mm-mm. It was based off the story by him.
Oh, so based off the story by Stephen King. We actually watched this one last night, and I mean, it's about a stuffed monkey and a drum, and it has some haunted ways, and it likes to kill people, and there's no real, I guess, rhyme or reason you could say as to who it kills. So it was interesting. It's about 2 twin boys, and they find this monkey. It was their dad's, and their dad had just basically left their mom at some point. It doesn't say at what age, but he left all his stuff behind. And so they find this stuffed monkey in a box, and it just takes a rampage on everyone, and they try to get rid of it, and it just keeps reappearing. I have to say, overall, it was not a bad movie, but I did not care for the ending. So.
The end, yeah, I would agree. The ending was a little weird. The whole, like, 3rd act for me, probably, like, from the time, I don't want to give anything away, so that you know what I mean, like, they meet.
Yeah.
That whole portion is kind of where it took a turn for me. The kills in this one are pretty cool. Mm-hmm. They're pretty imaginative. I've never really seen some of those done in the way that they're done. Movies like this, movies like Hard Eyes, I have to say they give me hope for a genre my favorite genre that I thought was kind of dying. We hadn't seen a lot of really good Terrifier 2. We hadn't seen a lot of like really good gory, bloody, slasher, supernatural kind of films like this, and now we've gotten 3 in the past year. And so it's really kind of, everything kind of takes its turn, but we're finally getting away from this Conjuring stuff. And the Conjuring movies are fine, don't get me wrong, but that's not the kind of horror that I like. They're just okay. So, you know, kind of getting back into the way that these are. I enjoyed this movie. I'm with you. I didn't really love the ending.
I feel like they could have done so much more with the ending to make it better.
I agree. And I wish, the only thing I wish we had have gotten out of this, aside from the ending, would be some backstory on the monkey. Because, like you said, like the boys, the twin brothers, they find it in a closet, and that's basically all there is. And there's like the beginning scene with the dad. We won't give anything away. But there's absolutely nothing that is said about why the monkey is kind of cursed or whatever. So I wish we had gotten some of that. But overall, I mean, again, it's an 89-minute horror movie. I mean, if you want all that backstory and stuff, you need probably a good 2 hours, and then people are going to gripe and complain because it's a 2-hour horror movie that's not good. So it's a very fine line to ride, but regardless, I liked it. For me, vote to keep. Next up, one that I had never actually seen, and I'm surprised I'd never seen it because this was actually pretty decent, and that is The Dark Half. So this is going to be a really hard movie to review without giving anything away. I guess at this point, this movie was in the late 80s, so I guess if you haven't seen it, you're bad, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, The Dark Half basically is another Stephen King adaptation. And basically what it is, long story short, this boy has these really bad migraines, these really bad headaches, and his mother gets him a typewriter so that he can write stories. And like he'll go to bed, and they'll go to bed, and when they wake up, he has a whole story written. And it's just very weird. And so he winds up passing out, and they have to take him to the hospital. And then all these years later, it kind of shows some things happening in the hospital. And all these years later, when he's grown up, he is a famous author. And he is writing these books. But all of a sudden, all these people in this small town start dying in the ways that he has written in his book. And basically, he is framed for it. He's like, but I didn't do it. And they're like, but we have your fingerprints at the crime scene. So how do you have that? So it's all about, I mean, the dark half. You can kind of imagine what this may entail. Overall, really, really, really good. I enjoyed it. I honestly can't believe I had never seen this one before. Great performances all the way around. For me, going to be a vote to keep.
All right, next up we have Popeye's Revenge, The Spinach Redemption. I have to say, this
does
is
it
probably...
say that?
Yes, it does.
I didn't even notice that.
I have to say, I was very, very, very disappointed in this movie.
This movie sucked, guys.
Yeah. I probably would not even waste my time watching it unless you just really are bored. And even then, I don't know that I would watch this again.
After I bought this, I did come across it on Tubi, so it is available for free. If you just want to watch it because you're like, hey, I like Popeye, go ahead. But yeah, I agree with Leigh 100%. I wouldn't waste your time unless you're just that damn curious. And if you're that curious, you might should reevaluate some things in your life because this is pretty damn bad.
Yeah, it's just crappy. So that's all I really have to say about it. It's definitely not the Popeye I remember growing up.
No, Popeye doesn't even speak. There's only one scene with spinach in it, so that's the Spinach Redemption. That's why I laughed, because there's only actually one scene with any kind of spinach. But basically, Popeye is a boy who was bullied at school. He winds up killing a kid at school, and he is sent home. And he winds up, basically the townspeople come after him. They burn the house. His mother and father burn. He winds up falling into the little lake that is there and drowns. And all these years later, he comes back riding in on the fog. And basically anyone that tries to have anything to do with the house, he winds up killing. The effects in this one are bad. The acting's bad. There's absolutely not one redeeming quality about this, in my opinion. I hated everything about it. I finished it just because.
I mean, the storyline's not even good.
No, there's plot holes bigger than states in this thing. So it just is what it is. For me, though, vote to sell. I'm not going to spend any more time on it. Again, I think it's available on Tubi if you guys are that curious to check it out. Next up here, I've seen this 1,000,001 times, but I did watch it with some free time that I had just because it was the 4K, and that is Young Guns. This is probably, this and Tombstone are probably two of the biggest Western, not just Western movies, these are probably two of the biggest movies of the 80s, period. Young Guns is absolutely amazing. I love...
80s or 90s?
Young Guns is 80. It was made in 88.
Oh, okay.
So this is absolutely amazing. The cast in this, you've got Lou Diamond Phillips, you've got Charlie Sheen, Emilio Estevez, and McDermott. Dermot Mulroney. Sorry, I couldn't think of his name. You've got him. You've got Keith Sutherland, Emilio Estevez, which we mentioned. I don't ever remember this dude's name. Casey Samiskio? I don't even know who that is. Anyways, his name's big enough to put on the front. But this basically is just the story of Billy the Kid. You have this small farmer, and he is farming cattle. And he takes in all of kind of these rough, around the edges younger men, and he basically teaches them to read and write and makes them work on the farm and basically tries to teach them life skills to help them. And Emilio Estevez's character is basically, he's so rough around the edges that he can't really be, there's not a lot of reform that can be done to him. And basically he this man that is kind of taking them in is killed, and basically these guys, as the young guns, have to rise up and do what's right. And reading and writing goes out. They're deputized, and they basically, they're trying to uphold the law. But you've got Emilio Estevez's character just shooting people instead of trying to arrest them, and basically he winds up getting in the heads of all of them, and he's like, we've got to avenge, putting them in jail, and then the crooked officials of the town getting them off are not going to do anything. So overall, really, really, really good film. I cannot wait. I hope at some point we get part 2. I know it has like a Warner Archive, I think, Blu-ray, which is extremely expensive. But I hope we get a part 2 on 4K at some point, because it's not as good, but I enjoy it almost equally as much. But regardless, I love Young Guns. Vote to keep.
Last one is Dark City. It was a little weird, not gonna lie. Basically, a guy wakes up in a bathtub, and there's a dead body laying on the floor, and it's got spirals cut into it. And everybody that they find dead has these spirals cut into it. And basically it's like he's walking through the world, but I don't know, it keeps changing. Like the towns keep changing. I don't even know how to describe it. It's very...
There's not a good way to, because it's very futuristic, very out there.
Yeah.
This actually came before The Matrix, and it's kind of the age-old story of, did The Matrix take things from this, if you kind of understand the story of The Matrix. But I don't really even know what they are. Are they aliens? Are they...
It never really says.
Basically, there's this order of people, and
I guess they are, based on the ending.
Yeah, with the floating. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically there's this order of people, and we'll call them aliens. And at 12 o'clock every night, the world stops. Everybody kind of conks out. Mm-hmm. And
no matter where they are or what they're doing, they just go to sleep.
And they will kidnap people and basically change their reality. Or not their reality. They will change their everything about them. So at 11:59, you may be Jane, and you work in a diner. And they're not seeing the results that they want out of you. So when you wake up at 12:01, you're now Rebecca, and you work in a clothing store, and you're the manager of this clothing store, and that's just how you go through life. Like, they are in the search. They don't have, I don't know if it's empathy or feeling. They're basically trying to find the soul. Basically, what the window to a man's soul is essentially, and they don't understand the way of the heart and everything about it. And so it's basically them, and you have this guy that wakes up, and he's kind of immune to everything. Like at 12 o'clock,
they didn't get the full dose into him, so it's like he's stuck in between, and he can't figure out. Yeah, he's very confused.
Yeah. And like, you know, they basically when he wakes up, they were trying to frame him for a murder, but yeah, he doesn't get the whole dose. He wakes up too early. They can't frame him, so now he's trying to figure everything out. And in the end, he does wind up figuring everything out. And I don't think we gave too much away with that. I think, you know,
No, I mean,
when this came out, so when Arrow Video, I'm a sucker for Arrow Video, as everybody knows. When this came out, I was like, I would like to see that, but I don't know if I'm going to be that into it. And everybody that I saw getting review copies, you had Pizzelle, you had Mid-Level Media, you had all these people getting review copies, and they were like, you will have to watch this movie more than once to get it. And I feel like we got it on the first watch, but I can definitely see where people would need to watch this twice.
if you don't really stop what you're doing and pay attention, yeah, you'd be lost really quick.
Yeah, like usually I'm up and down, you know, doing other things or like on my phone, and like I honestly had to like, I had to, because it is a hard movie to follow. It is different. It's got Kiefer Sutherland in it though. Overall, I enjoyed it though. I would definitely like to sit down and rewatch it sometime. Of course, I don't know when that'll be. Probably 30 years from now. But I definitely think it would be good on a rewatch. I don't know. It's almost like sometimes rewatches you lose some of that specialness to it. So I don't know. I don't know if it would or not, or if we'd learn more. Who knows? Maybe they'll change our minds. Anyways, on the vote, I vote to keep it. I mean,
Okay.
okay. You didn't seem too enthused about that.
I mean, I probably won't watch it again, but you are welcome to.
Okay. Well, anyway, out of those 9, it looks like we are keeping 6, which means we are getting rid of 3. We will go back through those 3 right quick. So we have Popeye's Revenge. This is a Region B. I will throw it up. I'll probably throw that one up on eBay. If it doesn't sell, I'll bring it to a convention. But I don't like taking Region B stuff because, no offense, but people don't understand what Region B is. And I feel like they buy stuff and they get home and can't play it. And then they're like, that Horrorland Media guy, screw him. But anyways, Trancers 4 and Trancers 5. So all 3 of these, at least Trancers 4 and 5 for the time being, will be available at a convention near you. Probably Trancers 4 and 5 will go to us at Scarefest because Full Moon will be at Flashback. So I try not to sell other people's stuff just because you're constantly undercutting people's prices and it's not a fun weekend trying to do that. So these will probably go with us to Scarefest. I will see about Popeye's Revenge. I don't know. It's Region B, like I said, so we may have to wait on that. But anyways, that's what we got. Keeping 6. Not a huge week. Hopefully next time will be much bigger. I'm hoping after Flashback we can kind of just relax a little bit. We'll get to editing on Mothershucker, but our running will stop until we actually just take a weekend to drive up to Horror Hound and go to that. So anyways, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Follow us on all the social medias down below. Come see us this weekend at Flashback Weekend if you're in the area. If you're not in the area, then by all means click on that link down below and take you to our website and go grab you a copy of Mothershucker and Twisted Gables. Get ready as Mothershucker 2 will hit Blu-ray this October at Scarefest. So as always, guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in, and hopefully we'll be back in 2 weeks' time, hopefully back on a little bit of a normal path with these episodes, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks' time with another episode of To Keep or Not to Keep.
To keep or not to keep.